Standing room only crowd comes out in Stamford. Margaretville man pleads guilty to crash that critically injures his son. An EF1 tornado tears through Hancock. These are just some headlines this week. Welcome to CatskillsAir. I'm Jessica Murphy here with your latest local news. Joining me now is Matt Avitable, editor and publisher of the Mountain Eagle and Catskills Chronicle. Let's get right to the news. It was standing room only in Stamford last week. The local planning board began business on the village's revitalization. Matt, what brought out the crowd?
There was a great turnout at the July 15th meeting. It was standing room only as Stamford is considering its future. It recently was awarded the New York Forward project, and ultimately there's going to be quite a bit through this downtown revitalization initiative funding that Stamford is considering. There's a lot of things that both the village and the public are considering in order to make Stamford a better place. There is a recommendation to try and get more public feedback. If anyone would like to submit a proposal, they are able to look over the eligibility criteria, review the local vision, goals, and evaluation criteria, consider consulting with an architect or an engineer, and come to the village. For small projects, it's recommended that business or property owners review the criteria and write a letter of interest to the village planning board. There's going to be a lot more throughout this entire process as Stamford is putting together their plans for the grant. We'll be reporting more as the story develops.
The National Weather Service confirms that a tornado hit Hancock last week. Matt, a shocking tornado, microburst and 95-mile-per-hour winds. What are the damages?
On the cover of this week's Hancock Herald, Kristen Barron wrote about the state of emergency that affected Delaware County. While our area did not get as much damage, ultimately the western part of the county wound up having severe damage. The National Weather Service in Binghamton confirmed that both an EF1 tornado and an intense microburst left a path of damage across the town of Hancock on Saturday, July 18th. There's some really dramatic photos from this event. The National Weather Service confirmed that there was a tornado that had a peak miles per hour of 95 that touched down in Broome County as well as part of Delaware County. Damage was quite significant. The Weather Service conducted a storm survey on Sunday from Sanford in Broome County, touching the far northern border of Wayne County through southern Delaware County, confirming the tornado as well as a 105-mile-an-hour microburst. And there was a 0.7 mile long and 0.3 wide affected zone throughout the Rock Valley area in the town of Hancock.
The town of Middletown got a $50,000 grant from New York State DEC. How will this money be spent?
The town of Middletown received $50,000 through the Catskill Park Community Smart Growth Grant through the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, or DEC. This is going to support a feasibility study examining the long-term wastewater solutions for the hamlets of Closeville and Kelly Corners, and the study will evaluate the option of connecting to existing wastewater infrastructure in Fleischman's and Halkettsville. These are topics that have come up quite a bit, and ultimately, it's one that Supervisor Glenn Faulkner said should be helpful. He said that the town remains committed to working with the Catskill Watershed Corporation, or CWC, to explore future opportunities.
We've talked a lot about Roxbury Constable Steve Williamson lately, mostly surrounding his recent retirement, but this time Williamson has words for the community.
Steve Williamson retired after 56 years as a law enforcement officer, including 47 as a constable for the town of Roxbury. He signed off for the last time with the Delaware County 911 Center as he entered retirement as the town constable. His call letters 443, which are known well far and wide across the county and beyond, wound up being a major topic as people listened in to Steve signing off after dozens of years of support to the community and good service. We wound up getting a message from a number of different individuals who said that they are very thankful for what Steve has done for the area, for the town of Roxbury, and beyond. And certainly, Steve has earned his retirement.
There's a guilty plea from the Margaretville man who crashed into a tree with two young children inside his car. The 5-year-old was injured for life. Matt, describe the tragic accident and the consequences.
This one's a sad case. James Campbell III, age 36 of Margaretville, pleaded guilty in Delaware County Court to several charges stemming from that vehicle crash on Bragg Hollow Road in April. On April 2nd, around 4 o'clock, state police arrived at Bragg Hollow Road to investigate a one-car motor vehicle accident. This revealed that the vehicle driven by The defendant had left the roadway and struck a tree. First responders detected an odor of alcohol coming from the breath of Campbell. Campbell and 2 young children were removed from the vehicle and transported by ambulance to the emergency room at Margaretville Hospital. One child had a fractured spine and internal bleeding and was transported to Albany Medical Center after being stabilized at Margaretville Hospital. The defendant refused to provide a sample of his breath or blood to the investigators. The state police received a warrant from the Delaware County judge in order to receive a sample of the defendant's blood, which was sent to the state police lab for testing, and this result indicated that the defendant's blood alcohol level was over 0.26%. Defendant appeared in Delaware County Court on July 14th and pleaded guilty to aggravated driving while intoxicated, which is a Class E felony. Prior to pleading guilty, the defendant admitted that he was driving his vehicle on a public highway with a child less than 15 years old as a passenger, and the defendant admitted that he was intoxicated to such a degree that he could not operate his vehicle in a safe manner. The defendant stated that he was intoxicated by liquor and acknowledged the test results that showed that he had a 0.26 blood alcohol level. Ultimately, he also pleaded guilty to vehicular assault in the first degree, which is a Class D felony, and admitted that because of his intoxication, he crashed the vehicle while he was driving, which caused serious injury to his 5-year-old child as a result. It's a really tragic case, and hopefully the injured child will recover soon.
Hancock trustees divvy up village land, but keeps Messenger Hall for public use.
We have another story on the cover of the Hancock Herald this week as the village board there passed a resolution to move a subdivision of the village-owned former Hancock Baptist Church property on Wheeler Street forward in anticipation of the sale of the church and parsonage buildings during its Monday, July 14th meeting. The village seeks to maintain ownership of the Messenger Hall as a public facility, and the hall, which is located on Reed Street, serves as the Hancock Senior Meal Site and can be used as a Red Cross Emergency Center. This was something that Delaware County Director of Planning, Parks, and Watershed Affairs, Shelley Johnson Bennett, said that was an effort to protect senior meals and the building, and that ultimately the village intends to split the property.
Delaware Academy reorganizes, which leads to several reappointments.
The Delhi School decided a number of appointments. They wound up reappointing Tammy Newman as president, with Lauren Raba serving as vice president. Lisa Kulaski was reappointed as clerk of the board for a 1-year term. She's also going to serve as records officer. We see Adam Baldaza serving as treasurer, with Superintendent Carrie Schultz as the deputy, and Schultz also serves as the chief emergency officer. There's a number of other appointments that are in this week's paper. Delaware Academy is gearing up for another school year.
The Fleischmann's board meeting covered everything from the controversy over the pool's closure to the locked tennis courts and road work.
A major topic of discussion at the July 13th Village of Fleischmann's meeting was about the pool. The mayor, Sam Gill, discussed the issue because some residents were confused and believed that the pool had been sold. However, the pool was not sold, but needs work. With that, he said that the decking needs to be resurfaced, pumps need required updates, the handicapped chair batteries are expired, and the pool needs to be painted. He said that it's going to cost the village between $40,000 and $50,000, and the village is looking for grants.
There is also a controversy brewing over the proposed Wyndham Mountain Club Hotel that may have wide-ranging repercussions through the area.
The 26-room boutique hotel became a topic of conversation as 2 letters were sent to the town planning board regarding the project, which is part of the larger WMC Development Master Plan. The town has brought in a special consultant. The consultant was at the July 15th planning board meeting where one of the letters was read, authored by John Flanagan, the owner of Bladow Wyndham, which is the former Thompson House. A second letter was sent by the proprietors of the Albergo Allegria, which is also nearby. There was discussion about whether or not Wyndham Mountain would not construct its own hotels. Flanagan argued that this was a departure from that earlier commitment that raised serious concerns, in his opinion, for the long-term planning of the community.
Help Your Neighbor with Medical Debt is a new initiative in Greene County that may also impact the rest of the Catskills. Matt, explain this campaign.
Catskills Mutual Aid announced a campaign to eliminate $1 million of medical debt for Greene County residents. They call this Relieve Greene County Medical Debt, and they're asking community members to support one another by lifting the burden of this debt from their neighbors. The group aims to raise $10,000 for those in need. The $10,000 will be able to help eliminate $1 million in qualifying medical debt, according to the group. There is an opportunity to donate and to find out more if you'd like to see about this effort.
A David versus Goliath battle is waging in Courtright as one man fights to get power from NYSEG.
A local entrepreneur came to the Courtright Town Board July 20th requesting support and demanding better service from NYSEG. He explained issues with not being permitted to connect to the grid. NYSEG claims that there's not enough power on the pole leading to his roughly 14-acre property on State Highway 23. However, claims there were enough space on the line when he initially inquired regarding the project also came up. The entrepreneur also hopes to engage the state legislature to demand change from NYSEG, and an official petition has already yielded about 15 signatures, he said, and he said that for far too long, Delaware County and all of upstate New York have been held hostage by NYSEG's failure to deliver reliable power, in his opinion.
And speaking of epic battles, it was old-time baseball versus Mother Nature in Bovina recently.
There were multiple storms during the Bovina Day festivities, and despite the context being bookended by thunderstorms, ultimately they wound up playing a 5- and 7-inning affair. We wound up seeing the MAC being a little bit shorthanded, and they had to get loaned a right fielder from the host club of the Bovina Dairymen, and ultimately the Dairymen hit the road to stops in Genesee County, and they're going to head to the World's Tournament at Greenfield Village on the grounds of the Henry Ford Museum. There's also going to be the MAC meeting the Ulster Nine on neutral ground for a special match in the town of Conesville on August 1st.
Rangers came to the rescue in Greene County, where a dog and a swimmer were stranded below Fawn's Leap. Matt?
July 8th saw a pretty dramatic rescue as Greene County requested forest ranger assistance with a swimmer and a dog stranded below Fawn's Leap. The dog had went over the edge and was stuck on the other side of the stream. A 29-year-old from Poughkeepsie tried to rescue the dog but also got stuck. Luckily, Rangers Horn and Jackson assisted the Ulster County Sheriff's Dive Swift Water Rescue Team, the Greene County Sheriff's Office, and the Athens and Hudson Fire Departments, as well as the Twin Close Technical Rope Team. With that, the two were rescued.
Also in Greene County, at Catskill Falls, Rangers rescued an unconscious hiker. Multiple rescue and paramedic teams were called out July 12th, shortly after 7 p.m. on a diabetic emergency. When they arrived, the patient was conscious, and rescuers carried the subject to the trailhead, where a waiting Hunter ambulance transported the person to a nearby hospital. Now here's a deep question to ponder. What would water say if you could hear it? Matt, we mentioned this Healing Waters event last week, but can you describe what this is in case some viewers missed it?
The public is invited to an August 6th event called Healing Waters. It's going to be that Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. Roxbury Arts Group wants everyone to come out to find out about this workshop, reflection, and deep reflection. The first Creative Waves community workshop held at the Water Discovery Center in Arkville. This is something that I'm sure we'll be following up on. It is led by multimedia artist Dennis Red Moon Darkeem and deep listening practitioner Rachel Condry. And this workshop combines watercolor painting with a short introduction to deep listening practice through a guided meditation and immersive sound and video score. What's really neat is that it's recorded along Delaware County's waterways. And the hope is that through guided painting, listening, and reflection, participants will explore the connections between water, memory, and stillness. Sounds like something you should check out.
While speaking of water, there's also a community event on Saturday.
Water is on the mind this week. Roxbury Arts Group is working with the Catskill Water Discovery Center and, again, Dennis Red Moon Darkeem for Gathering Waters, which is a free community celebration of water at the Catskill Water Discovery Center in Arkville on Saturday, August 8th from 11 to 2. It's an opportunity to celebrate creativity, share stories, and reflect on the importance of water in our lives. And if you make it, there's going to be food, music, storytelling, conversation, and an interactive art activity led by local artists.
The Catskills Folk Connections has changed the date for its square dance in Margaretville.
We hope that you hadn't gotten your boots on just yet, as we wound up seeing a date change. What was supposed to be Saturday, July 25th is now August 8th, also a Saturday, at 7 p.m. at the Margaretville Fire Hall on Church Street. If you'd like to make it, Catskill Folk Connection is organizing this event. There's going to be dance to John Jacobson calling traditional Catskill swears, Ira McIntosh playing guitar, and Zach Baldwin Way on mandolin. Square dances will include ones from the repertoire of the late legendary fiddler and caller Hilt Kelly and his band, the Sidekicks. Sounds like it's going to be awesome. Make sure you make it to Saturday, August 8th for a little bit of local culture and dance.
Well, for more on these and other articles, pick up the Mountain Eagle or Catskills Chronicle. But Matt, before you go, what are you working on for next week?
We're going to have an update from the County Board of Supervisors. They wound up meeting, and we couldn't meet it in for deadline, so we're going to have it in next week's paper. We're also going to be doing a follow-up to many of these arts events as AMR held their tour around this area. A lot of local artists got together, and it sounds like it was a great event.
Thanks for keeping us all up to date. We will see you next week. And now it's time to talk sports. Here's John with the details.
She loved tackle football. For one season, Mary Alessa would play as a wide receiver and defensive back for the New York Knockouts, a women's tackle football team that plays in the American Women's League. The Knockouts play their home games on the football field at Lansingburg High School in Troy. After her initial season on the gridiron, Mary Alessi would transition from player to assistant general manager as part of the franchise's front office. Alessi would hold that position for 2 years and spearhead the Knockouts' entry this season into the American Women's League. In their first season in the new league, the Knockouts were within 1 win of capturing the American League Championship. Last weekend, the Knockouts took on the Carolina Stars in the championship game played in the Emerald Bowl in San Antonio, Texas. Sadly, Mary Alessa was not there. Just days before the playoffs were to begin, the Knockouts were rocked when Mary, who had been waging a courageous battle against breast cancer, passed away. But the Knockouts would find strength and unity as they grieved the loss of their former teammate and friend. They dedicated their quest to bring home the championship to Mary. I am so proud of this team and grateful for the way we've come together as a family, said the team's free safety, Savannah Ross. We say family on 6, and we really mean that. I think that exemplifies what football is. It's about family, coming together, and sisterhood, Ross emphasized. With Alessi in the back of their minds, each of the knockout players wears a number 24 decal, Mary's old number, on their helmets. The fired-up Knockouts ran all over River City Sting 49-0 in the playoffs wild card round. Every snap, every ball, every play, we do it for Mary, said Ross. We know she's watching. Our last playoff game, the sky was blue and clear, so we know she was watching the whole time, laughing at our mistakes and cheering us on the whole way. Locally, Laura Clark, a Unitigo graduate who lives in Otigo, starts at left guard for the Knockouts. Clark works as an account executive for the Oneonta Daily Star. Clark has been playing flag football locally for several years. Last year, she saw an ad for the Knockouts, attended tryouts, made the team, and signed a contract to play for the Knockouts. The bond on this team is unlike anything I've ever experienced, Clark raved. We have an incredible group of women who are respectful, supportive, and generally care about one another. It's more than just being teammates. We've become family. I truly believe that's one of the biggest reasons we've been so successful, Clark told Greg Klein, the sports editor of the Daily Star. Win or lose, the Knockouts are making a mark and proving football can be a sport for everybody. That's our local sports report for this week.
Thanks, John. This is surely the season to be outdoors, and most of us up here enjoy a nice hike. Reporter Mila Crane has a roundup of great trails in this week's Catskills Chronicle. She details the nearly 4.5-mile trek to the Dry Brook, the fire tower in fact, and the short but steep climb to Flat Rock on Panther Mountain. I don't know that one. Plus, if you haven't visited, check out the New York Mount Rushmore carvings on the cliffside of Pratt Rock. Those are cool. I've been there many times. It's a real beautiful short hike and really interesting. So if you want some views, get out there and take a hike. Now let's see what Elizabeth has in arts and entertainment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Focus on the Arts News Spot. The Franklin Stage Company in Franklin, I don't know if you've ever been, they always have incredible performances during their summer season, which is short. So Franklin Stage Company presents Dual Rivet Dance July 31st to August 2nd with matinees and evening performances. An evening of duets, a collection of two-person works, emotional, focused, dynamic, dancing, creating and sharing vision and purpose. It's free, but a donation of $25 is suggested. If you can't, still go. But if you can, help promote the amazing Franklin Stage Company. Next, the Wyndham Arts Alliance and the Main Street Community Center have gotten together and have presented an exhibition of local artists titled Passages. It opens August 1st and runs till September 11th. The opening is August 1st from 3 to 5 at the Community Center in Wyndham, Main Street Community Center. Esme Ariel will perform music at the opening. There will be fresh refreshments and a wonderful talk with all the artists that will be having their work there. Passages, how life and form and movement affect their art. So the Wyndham Arts Alliance and Main Street Community Center are always having, again, incredible workshops and exhibitions that bring people together to express their passion and their love of creating. The Iroquois Museum, up by Howe's Cavern. Roots, Rhythm, and Ale. It's a fundraiser for the museum, which if you've not been to the Iroquois Museum, you should go. The August 7th from 5 to 9, they'll have this fundraiser with a number of bands. The Rubber Band Group, a North Slope Band, all performing one right after the other. They'll be dancing, artisan market, there'll be food and drink for purchase, but there'll be an also silent auction to help raise money for the museum. All proceeds go to the museum. So let's help promote the Iroquois Museum's workshops and performances and exhibitions, the educational programs that help teach our young people to critically think and enjoy other cultures. So definitely check these things out online. They're easily available. They may take a little drive, but go help support our communities. Thank you for watching from Focus on the Arts. I hope you're having a wonderful, creative day.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Get out there and enjoy. America's 250th celebration continues. You can head to Delhi for the Vendor Village around historic Courthouse Square, a parade that ends at the American Legion where there will be food trucks, kids game, and a vintage baseball match. On Wednesday, August 5th, you're all invited to Delhi Telephone Company's open house to raise funds for the local high school scholarships. There'll be giveaways, raffles, and more. And you can even snag a photo with CatskillsAir famous sportscaster John Bernhardt. So bring the family and support our young scholars. And don't forget to get his autograph. Mountain Eagles Rob Brune captured the orange sky above the Catskills during last week's smoke from the wildfires blazing in Canada. So what's in store for our area this coming week? Here's Lori with her weather words.
Heidi-ho, friends and neighbors, it's Lori with CatskillsAir, bringing you your weekly weather update for the beautiful, pristine, still highly wacky and unpredictable in weather Catskill Mountain region. And after a pretty spectacular weekend in weather, it looks like we're going to wind down the month of July with lots of storms, some much needed rain, and cooler temperatures. Not very good for the last week in July. However, we're going to kick off the month of August next weekend with some warmer temperatures and lots of sunshine. So let's give it a go and check out what's happening in the Catskill High Peaks for the last week of July. On Monday, we can expect partly cloudy skies early with isolated, scattered, widespread thunderstorms and showers. Temperatures are going to top out in the mid to upper 70s, winds light and variable. Overnight, we have partly cloudy skies with increasing clouds and late night showers. Temps are going to dip back to the low 60s, winds light and variable. On Tuesday, we have rain and showers throughout the day with heavy thunderstorms with gusty winds. Temps are going to only top out in the low 70s, winds out of the south-southeast at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have showers and thunderstorms, and during some of those thunderstorms could bring gusty winds. Temps are going to dip back to the low 60s, winds light and variable for the most part. On Wednesday, we have cloudy skies with periods of rain and isolated thunderstorms. Temps are going to top out at 70 degrees, winds out of the north at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have steady light rain before midnight and then showers and scattered showers after midnight. Temps are going to dip back to the upper 50s, low 60s, winds out of the north-northwest at 5 to 10. On Thursday, we have stray showers and isolated storms in the morning with partly to mostly cloudy in the afternoon with stray peaks of sunshine. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s, winds out of the north-northwest at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have partly cloudy skies with temps dipping back to the mid to upper 50s, winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. And on Friday, we have a mix of sun and clouds with temps on the rise to the upper 70s, winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. And overnight, we have a fair evening with generally clear skies with a few passing clouds, temps dipping back to the upper 50s, low 60s, winds light and variable. As I bid you farewell, remember that weather and temperature changes on a dime, especially in the beautiful Cats. Be sure to join me, Lori, for your weekend weather update, because for the first weekend in August, it's going to be pretty spectacular. So, see you then from somewhere in the Cats.
That's it for Catskills Air News. If you see something out there, let us know. I'm Jessica Murphy, and as we sign off, take a look at some of the colorful events around the area from last week.